class, today we're talking about the respiratory system, starting with your nose. Your nose has three functions. They're hairs and mucus that are going to filter out particles from the air that your body doesn't want to get into your lungs. It's also going to warm the air, and it's also used for smelling. Your trachea is the windpipe. It's going to move your air from your nose to your lungs, and at the top of this sits your larynx or your voice box, which is how we are able to speak. What happens is air is pushed up from your lungs and it goes through your larynx, and there are vocal cords in there that are going to vibrate to make different sounds. Next is the bronchi. These are tubes that are going to move the air from your trachea to your lung. There is one bronchus that leads to each lung. Part of that is going to be outside the lung. The other part is inside the lung, as you can see in the diagram. It's going to branch off even further into the bronchioles, and then at the end of the bronchioles are alveoli, which are tiny little sacs where that gas exchange is going to take place. And then you have your lungs, so all of those parts are inside. Those are the main organs of your respiratory system, where those gases are going to be exchanged between air and your blood. So there's a connection to your circulatory system here. Here's the diagram you need to know. So we've got at the top your larynx or your voice box, then the air travels down your trachea, your windpipe. It splits off into the bronchi, splits off even further into the bronchioles, then at the end of the alveoli. So all of that would be inside a lung, and then at the bottom is the diaphragm. The diaphragm is a muscle. It's going to move up and down to help you breathe. You can see it's inside your rib cage. It's kind of shaped like a parachute. So what happens is as the diaphragm moves up, your lungs are going to exhale the air, and then as it moves down, you would be inhaling and your lungs would be expanding. Here's a picture of healthy lungs. That's obviously not how they're organized in the body, but you can see kind of the difference there between a smoker's lung. This is what happens when someone's smoking cigarettes. It's going to be very difficult to take in air with lungs that look like that. Other problems from lungs and impact from that would be diseases like pneumonia. What happens is bacteria or viruses are going to invade your alveoli and they cause them to fill up with fluids. So obviously that would be very difficult to breathe. Asthma is a disease that's going to make it harder for someone to breathe. Sometimes those bronchioles are going to contract, and those tubes are going to fill with phlegm, which is going to make it harder to breathe. Bronchitis is a disease caused by bacteria that's going to create mucus, which also obstructs the airways in your lungs, so that's going to make it difficult to breathe as well. So how does the respiratory system work with some of those other systems? Well, it works with the digestive system because you get nutrients from eating and then we get oxygen from breathing, and both of those put together are what's going to give you energy that's made in your cells. So they have to work together. If we don't have food and we don't have oxygen, we're not going to survive. Your respiratory system also works with your circulatory system. So the oxygen that we get from breathing is going to be sent into your bloodstream, and your bloodstream is going to carry it to all of your body's cells. So again, those two work together to make energy, and if you don't have them, you're not going to survive. Very important. Let's look at the path that air takes. So air enters our nose, it goes down our trachea. That trachea then branches into the bronchi and the bronchioles. At the end of the bronchioles, the air is going to enter the alveoli. In the alveoli, that oxygen is going to leave the air and go into the blood. So here's our connection to the circulatory system. Once the oxygen is in your blood, the blood's going to carry it to all your body cells. In those body cells, the oxygen is going to combine from nutrients from food, from the digestive system in order to make energy. When that energy is released, we may create a waste product called carbon dioxide. That carbon dioxide is going to go back into your blood, and it's going to be carried as a waste product back to your lungs so that you can then exhale, and then that carbon dioxide will exit your body. And that's what we need to know about the respiratory system.